Welcome back to Gatekeeper Media's coverage of the 2022 South Florida Open. We are down in sunny Fort Lauderdale, covering this December 2022 event. Tri-Fly Disc Golf was the primary sponsor, and we thank them very much for organizing, running, all the hard work they do in South Florida. I'm Andrew Fish, joined here by Nick Hansen.
Hey folks, how we doing today? I'm excited for this last round we have here in South Florida. Unfortunately, it's going to be the last of the season for us, but we're excited to be here.
Yeah, then it's on to 2023. Our card today is going to be Paul McBeth, Garrett Gurthie, Adam Durham shooting a hot round in round 2, and Thomas Gilbert. You see those guys have put a little bit of a gap between themselves and the chase card. Paul McBeth, newly terrorizing Florida as a resident. He's got those Lunas that he's putting with. He's going to throw his buzz quite a bit out here. And I expect we'll see a variety of distance drivers, probably some forces on the longer open holes, undertakers for the shorter ones.
Garrett Gurthie, sponsored by Innova. We know and love him for that Sonic. I'm sure, though, we'll be seeing the T-Bird and the Firebird today as well as we get back to the course we started on.
Yeah, I got to play with Garrett in the first round, and he kind of tore this place up. Adam Durham I played with in the second round at Markham Park, and he was throwing zones very, very well. Spin putting in from a lot of different places. You see he's throwing a mixed bag. Got some Millennium, he's got some Innova in there.
And last, Thomas Gilbert, sponsored by Prodigy Discs during this event. Going to be throwing the FX3 a lot, I would say. I'm excited to see him in 2023, though, when he'll be throwing thought-space discs.
Yeah, and for a little while at least, he's the defending champion from his win in 2021.
And here we are at hole 1, 450-foot par 4, playing as kind of an S shape. If you can get to this alley here, this is going to be in the best spot for you to get up and down for a birdie. It's a hard opening hole, I would say, so really you just want to get out of there with your par.
Yeah, you probably have like a 20-foot circle that's a sweet spot at about 250 off the pad. Paul's going to turn his shot over a little too early, and that's out of position already. Garrett, Color Glow Rock 3, playing for a late break. And he was tracking right towards the gap. Does take just a fine skip, or a fine bounce off the tree. And he'll have a hyzer approach.
Adam there, probably going to be in a good spot. Tough to tell, though. I think if you're short on the left, it's going to be better.
Yeah, look to see him picking this course apart with forehands. Thomas with the power forehand kind of goes through a little bit of stuff.
Goodness.
Wow.
That is so far up there.
He will be jump putting. And
you weren't kidding about that forehand. Look at that.
Yeah, it's a real luxury when you can just kind of stare at a zone or stare at any shot and say, oh, I can throw a zone through that.
Yeah, how can I get my zone there?
Garrett Firebird. Hyzer trying to push past the gap tree and runs to 18 feet long. Nicely done.
Yeah, these guys are making this hole look really easy here on this final day.
And I can assure you it's not. I took a 6 on it. No out of bounds, just an all-natural 6.
How many putts?
1.
It's a little tough then.
Disc golf is like that sometimes. It's a long season, and you want to close on a high note. Sometimes you can't. Thomas in for his easy 3-0. Garrett's about to do the same.
He made that hole look so easy. I'm still thinking about his tee shot.
Right? Like, you can't throw it a whole lot better than that.
I played with a lefty on my card.
Okay.
And he threw it to about the exact same spot.
Yeah, it's definitely a hole that rewards that counterclockwise spin. because the fade puts you into the gap, you can rely on your stability a little bit more. With a backhand, you're trying to play your break much later in the flight than you'd like to.
Yeah, here we are at hole 2. It's a 400-foot par 3. It's straight as they come, but you'll need to flex a shot to get all the way to the basket. You'll see players playing out to the left to have a jump putt for their birdie.
Garrett pulls it right early, and that's out of bounds. Terrible mistake. Adam going to the backhand here. I'm interested to see that. He kind of makes it through the scattered palm trees and goes long.
Oh my goodness.
That's huge.
That is so good.
Interesting to see him go backhand while Thomas goes forehand.
Yeah, actually that is.
And I would describe Thomas as more backhand dominant. He's comfortable with the forehand, but he'd rather throw the backhand. Paul playing a drifting shot. I like the way that was flying, but does catch one of the palms late. And from over here, Garrett's not the kind of guy who drills practice rounds all the time. Like he'll get a couple in, a disciplined player like that. But there's no way that he played a practice shot from that spot.
Yeah, and this hole is very tough if you get off. And as you see, he's kind of playing back and forth across the fairway now.
Little floaty turnover from Thomas. Going to land in circle 2.
And that's just a miss from Paul there. You could see it as soon as it left his hand. He was not happy with that one.
Yeah. He kind of had a green light after seeing Garrett and Thomas, struggling. Although Adam very much in a position to pick up a stroke here. And he does so. Just squeaks it in.
Great catch there by the basket. That's got to feel good to start birdie here on the final day on the lead card.
Yeah, for sure. Number 2's got some wide receiver gloves out there.
The rest of our card cleans up here. I was kind of laughing at myself when I said that, that was a pure miss out of Paul, even though he's from 60 out and pretty close to the basket still. But
right, yeah.
That's what we expect from Paul nowadays, is he just makes everything. We've got a chase card check-in here from Randon Latta.
Donnie getting to play a Florida event. And this is just piped.
So good. He throws this very far.
Yeah, at Deglow, he made a great run, got himself a top 10 finish there. One of the premier throwers, in my opinion, and he's still in his early 20s.
Yeah, he's going to be really good here in a couple years, but here we are at hole 3, 255-foot par 3. Players are needing to get it up and over that ledge. That's where the OB lies. However, it's a little trickier than it looks.
Yeah, the distance and elevation and ceiling kind of put you somewhere between a fairway and a mid. Adam gets himself inbounds right side. Paul with good spin on his shot, throwing the mid. And that's about where he was in round 1 when he was unable to convert on his putt.
Thomas here.
And this is flirting.
Thomas
Oh, no.
Unfortunately, yeah, he's going to be short there. He'll be playing from a drop zone up top left.
And the drop zone gives you virtually no chance of saving a 3. So Thomas is probably going to be playing for a 4 at best.
And with the low ceiling you see here, this is not the easiest drop shot or drop zone shot.
No, and Thomas was going in pretty hot. He was fortunate to catch the back edge of the logs. So he'll have a tap in 4. Garrett, this doesn't really suit his putt. He's got to go very direct at it. And that's big.
Yeah, got to be loving those early.
Oh, I take it back. He was able to put the elevation that he would want on it. Nicely done.
Yeah, he's got that nice hyzer putt. Stays on that same angle the entire time, where he's just trying to drop it right into the basket.
Paul, high and center.
Yeah, I was going to say Paul connected for his birdie.
And Adam might have been so close to the front side of the logs that it was difficult to get it there.
Oh, no. That's not what you want after being inside the circle on this hole.
No.
And I think you're exactly right. He was just too close to that wall to give him a good putt. And we've got another check-in with Randon here. Like you're saying, up-and-comer from Florida. I think he traveled on the road almost all year with Kevin Kiefer this year.
Yep, grinding it out.
2 young guns that we'll be seeing for quite a while, I'd say.
About a 40-footer here. Very dead center. Love it. And my recollection is that had a little bit of a crosswind action to it. So well judged by him to play that.
He's getting off to a nice early start, but we're here at hole 4, 498 feet. I believe Fish said it was closer to 460, he thinks, but just a big power shot for these guys, hoping to get inside the circle and grab a 2.
Paul doesn't appear to like it. He does kind of saw it off and end up left and short. Garrett giving him the width.
Yeah, absolutely ripping one.
And he went out of bounds long in round 1 as well. This one's going to be pretty far to the right, more difficult to save par.
Do you know, was he throwing a driver there or was he throwing a fairway?
Yeah, I think he was going destroyer.
Okay.
Adam, very nice hyzer flip.
As you can see, though, he was almost pushing that dirt road back there as well.
Yeah, for sure. Once you get this tipped up, you want it to be finishing, which is why I think being able to play the hyzer over the water is key. Because then the disc is fading, not penetrating forward as it's getting towards the basket.
So none of our players really in an ideal spot off the tee here. We're going to have some longer putts, and Garrett's going to be trying to save his putt save his par from just outside the circle, I think.
Oh, there we go.
Out of position, but in the basket. That definitely deserves a replay. Whew. How do putts like that make you feel? Do they get you going, or you kind of just take it as it is? Or?
And that's a big comeback for Adam after taking a birdogey on the previous hole. No pars so far on his scorecard, and when you're able to make up for a driving mistake by putting well, it makes the game of disc golf feel so easy, so forgiving.
Yeah, and Garrett actually was quite a bit further out of position than I thought, so he's just pitching up there and maybe taking a bogey. Paul taps in his par.
And I gotta tell you, Randon Latta at his old nonsense again.
And this is really no surprise here. This is a big power shot, and he's got it in the bag.
His head's in the way.
Oof.
but that's down to 20 feet or so.
And it was so high in the air.
Yep. So he's 4 down through 4 at that point, looking to make a push from well back.
All right, here we are at hole 5. 360-foot par 3. The hill or embankment you saw on the right side is OB, but players are going to be throwing directly over it, trying to throw either a flex in there or just a big sidearm over all the trees.
Adam takes the box after his lone birdie on hole 4. With his big forehand, he's able to spike it in to about circle's edge. And that would have been closer without the little tree touch on the end. Paul kind of sawed off his forehand a little bit in round 1. Didn't really pay for it. So let's see if he gives it the width here. This is kind of similar.
Oh, he's actually going to be out of bounds up there.
Yeah, I feel like that's a mistake you really can't afford to make. Like the OB is pretty far away from the basket, and it's a little bit of a bonus. You don't need to attack this so aggressively.
Yeah, he's going to be kicking himself after this hole for sure. Garrett Gurthie throwing a sky roller.
Yeah, kind of been dealing with a little bit of a side injury since the New World Championships. He kind of tweaked it throwing a roller, so he's been going more towards rollers than forehands. Is this Paul electing to re-tee rather than... Or
yeah, I would say this is either Paul throwing a re-tee or throwing a provisional in case they would say he maybe never got across in bounds.
Okay.
Got to know the provisional rule, and you need to use it to your benefit.
Yeah, it kind of costs you nothing to play a provisional. They might have determined that he went out of bounds before the corner, and consequently Paul decided that his angle would be better if he just re-teed. Adam squares it up. Still par free on the round. Thomas in. Good bird for him.
Did you consider this one a bonus hole as well, right?
I think so, and I think it's mostly because like the distance isn't terrible, but it's difficult to get like a super clean. It's hard to get a super clean shot there every time.
And what do you know? We've got Randon here again, throwing an absolute smash turnover. He's going to give himself a putt just outside the circle to go 5 for 5.
Yeah, again about 40 feet.
And he is on fire today.
Yeah, buddy.
How was his energy on the card?
Oh man, it was just like so calm and focused. It was awesome to watch him as he like. Sometimes he struggles a little bit with the feel for putting, but he just like got the stroke and was off to the races.
Oh, it's so fun to watch a player like that. But here we are at hole 6, 295-foot par 3.
And if you're Adam with that forehand, you're kind of feasting on holes like this, right?
Yeah, this hole and the next hole for him.
But
Unfortunately,
alas,
though, yeah, he's going to have some trouble there.
Thomas with the opposite mistake, kind of throwing a moon ball. But does trickle to the right side for a clean putt. Garrett plays speed and stability, and park job.
And that's a good birdie for him to get with that sidearm.
Definitely. Paul not thrilled with the result of that forehand, and he will be first up to throw. Adam with the jump putt. That's a pure approach. I like the responsibility there.
Yeah, no need to be running that one.
Yeah, and don't look now. Even though Adam took that birdogey on hole 3, I'm sorry, he's only one back of Paul right now. And with the strength of his forehand, you got to think that the next hole sets up well also.
Yeah, he's putting on a real good showing here in the front 9, and hopefully he can just continue this trend.
Yeah. Paul undaunted by the par putt from well back. All right. Nicely done by Garrett.
Yeah, and here we are at hole number 7. It's a pretty straightforward hole. The left side is going to be the most open, where players are going to go throw a forehand, usually off the road to get the skip back in bounds. As you can see, that mound in the middle of the fairway kind of impedes any shot going down the straight gap.
And Thomas gets that road skip, kind of finds the only little bit of danger back beyond the basket. I think a real key to this shot is making sure it's on hyzer the entire time so that it's moving right continuously. It's not long, but you can't let the disc get, tipped up too flat or released on an anhyzer. These road skips make the right movement pretty easy if you're there.
Yeah, all about that nose angle, because if you get it flat on that concrete, it's going to skip dead straight.
And Paul just the ground play.
Yeah, circling one up to it.
Looks like a raptor, flies like a raptor. My raptors don't roll like that, though.
Which way do yours roll? Away from the basket?
Away from the basket, yeah. Thomas, full extension out to the right side. Difficult to keep your balance and not fall forward when you're that stretched out, but he does so well.
Got the height advantage there, allowing him to get around that bush.
Yeah, it's good for that, but he can't fit in an airline seat comfortably. Adam, left side. You got to keep those spin putts online. And Garrett, I would tell you, you got to keep that push putt online also.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate miss for him. I mean, he's put together a great front 6 holes, and I'm sure he wanted to get back on track there, but...
Yeah, I wonder if there is a little bit of nerves here. I don't know if he's been in this position in an A-tier before, and certainly, you're on a card with some truly elite players. Adam is from North Carolina, works out of Greenville, Jacksonville area, and just happened to be down in Miami for work, and this A-tier was happening that week, so good for him being able to sneak in an extra tournament.
I loved hearing that. Here we are at hole number 8. It's a straight shot, 322 feet, OB on the left, and it's going to wrap all the way around and behind the basket.
This hole's going to put you between a fairway and a mid-range. And Thomas taking the road less traveled on the left side of the main gap tree, but going to have a circle 2 look. Garrett taking the road even less traveled.
Yeah, getting through quite a ways. I would say he should be very fortunate of where he landed.
Paul with the mid, flying straight. You see the nose up there that he's able to throw a flippy enough disc to keep it straight on that nose up, but the nose up gives him the late glide and lift that he needs. Adam, the hyzer flip forehand, and that's well done to about circle's edge.
That's a very, very technical shot to execute.
Yeah.
Garrett throwing a perfect up shot that then rolls a little bit of ways, but he should have no problem cleaning that up.
Something I admire about his game is that he throws the disc that he feels comfortable with. Like, his bag is very, very simple. And a lot of players there would go, as I don't want to omit Thomas's nice putt here for birdie.
Yeah,
Garrett
what
threw
a
a Firebird on that
smack.
short shot. And a lot of other players would be, thinking, well, this is inside 200, therefore putter. And disc golf gives you that creativity to throw whatever you want to.
Oh, Adam. It's unfortunate now. 2 missed putts inside the circle on back-to-back holes here.
Paul's going to pick up a birdie as well. And Adam's going to be kicking himself a little bit here. He's got to keep his head because we're getting into a much more technical stretch of the course.
And we're going to have a chase card check-in here on hole 9. Randon continuing his tear.
Yeah, just a huge shot, multiple skips.
I honestly didn't think you could get that far thrown that way.
Yeah. And then able to throw the forehand. He's almost looking at the basket, able to throw the drifting forehand to about 20 long.
That's absolutely incredible.
Not many birdies happening on hole 9. We saw Paul get it in round 1. Donnie, 7 down through 9. Good push.
Yeah, congrats. So, hole 9 here, 615-foot par 4. Players going to be throwing either the low route that Donnie threw there, or you can throw a spike hyzer that then fades to and tries to get to about where he was. A very tricky par 4.
Thomas taking that upper decker. Seems like that's drifting too far left. He gets a similar bounce to what he got in round 1 that might be throwable still. Paul says there's no trees up there. I'll do the same thing. And he definitely gets the distance, but his angle may be cut off by being too far left.
Yeah, both those players pushing left. And it's hard to tell where you landed from back here, so you're kind of just throwing it and waiting.
Yeah, definitely. Like, Garrett not getting over the tree. He does land on the safe side of the Mando. Surprising to see him not execute that shot. You gotta make sure you put it to the right side to get around the tree more than over it.
Adam putting a good shot on it as well. He's going to be halfway down that fairway, maybe have a chance.
I think the big key on hole 9 is to not get behind too much. Like, you kind of got to get yards on first down off the tee so that you don't get in a 3rd and long situation, kind of like Garrett is right now. Adam throwing skip shot. He's going to push a little bit long, but that may be scrambleable. It might not.
Yeah, nothing about this hole is easy. All of the shots are very demanding and very hard. And Garrett's going to be, I think he's going to be very happy with his performance here to get up inside the circle there to get his par.
Potentially a huge save. Right now he's trailing the rest of his card. Kind of gave up some strokes early on hole 2. So it's critical that he at least save his par. Thomas leaning out for a forehand. This could be a flex shot. It could be a roller. It's dealer's choice, and none of them are great hands.
Oh, he throws it so well. Wow.
Oh, my.
Adam electing to throw a roller over the OB.
Oh, weird landing.
Oh, and he's just going to
come back in.
Stay out of bounds.
So, Nick, I understand his decision to try to throw the little forehand roller. There's a lot more open space over there. When you're taking a kind of a risky play like that, where the worst case scenario is basically stroke and distance, like what goes into your calculation for that, and how do you mentally survive it?
Well, mentally surviving it, I think, is not the hardest part, because if if that's what you decide to do and it ends up wrong, like that's just how it works.
That's
You
just golf, right?
gotta live with it. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's one thing to like say you're gonna do something and then be tentative through your throw, but if you fully commit to it and that's how it ends up, like just kind of take it for what it is. But as far as the risk reward goes, on a day like today, I mean, you're pushing for all of it, so you're gonna be risking more shots than maybe on day one.
Yeah, potentially. He's going to end up with a 6 there. We saw Garrett miss his par putt, so he'll be tapping in a 5.
Yeah, unfortunate for Garrett. He put himself in such a good position there after being in such a bad position off the tee.
Yeah, so that is what it is. That's through hole 9. Paul's still out in front, but Thomas making a good charge there late in the front. Adam and Garrett having a little bit of an uneven 9, but still plenty of holes to make a move on. We see Donnie pushing up into a tie for 4th place. I'm looking forward to this back. This is the last tournament of the season. Everyone's looking to make their stamp on what 2022 was for themselves. Nick, thanks for joining me, and look forward to seeing it on the back.
Thanks for having me, Fish, and like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on that back 9, folks.